And Gavan, both houses of the Oireachtas in attendance for President Biden's somewhat passionate address there a short time ago.
Passionate is a very good word to describe it, Caroline, as was indeed the response. I've been in Leinster House now as a journalist for 10 years and I've never known anything like the reception that Joe Biden got on his arrival into the Dáil chamber, and that was before he even got to open his mouth to say a single word. And it was a speech which at times veered on the personal and at times also on the professional, one which largely focused around the intertwining histories and relationships between the two countries. A reminder that there are as many Americans working for Irish companies in the States as there are Irish people working for American companies over here, and talking about his own family history, talking about his family history coming from Warren Point at the port of Newry, a place he was able to see yesterday where his grandfather Owen Finnegan emigrated. One of the great ancestors of Barack Obama left the same port only 5 weeks afterwards. But one of the major topics of this was the relationship and the common values, the common outlook between the United States and America. And that was something that President Biden touched on when he said that he recently spoke to President Xi Jinping of China, and he was asked how exactly he would define the American ideal.
Can you define America for me? This is the God's truth. I said, yes, I can, in one word. But if you asked me about Ireland, I could have said the same thing. One word. Possibilities. We believe anything is possible if we set our mind to it, and we do it together. This is the United States of America and Ireland. There's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. And we got to believe that. We got to know that, because that's the history of both our countries.
And the tone of that final remark was reflected in something else that Joe Biden said. Towards the end of his half-hour speech, he said that the world was at something of an inflection point, particularly given the threat of climate change. And he said that in that light, the world needed the imagination of countries like Ireland as well as the United States to be able to get out of some of the challenges that it faces. It was, broadly speaking, a political speech, but there were some personal notes too, towards the end, where he noted that perhaps in another world it would have been his son Biden who might well have been the President of the United States and giving an address like the one that his father, Joe Biden Jr., had just given. But he also, as he took to the dais in the centre of Leinster House, he looked to the skies and invoked his own mother and said, well, Mom, you said it was going to happen. A heavenly invocation of his mother, who once upon a time predicted that his son might be president and that he might indeed end up addressing the Houses of Parliament, something which he has done today, the fourth president ever to do so in the history of the United States.